So I got 5 books back from CGC, and I actually forgot what was even in here, so I'm going to get it unboxed here off camera, and then we'll go ahead and see what the grades are. So our first book today is Spawn number 8, which is an homage to Spider-Man number 1. McFarlane goodness, right? We gotta love all these covers. There's several homages of this cover that have been done over the years, and this is one of the better ones. I really like this cover. So this book looked perfect when I bought it, almost perfect. It had 1 or 2 pressable defects, which I was able to get off the book. This is one of those books that, while I've never experienced it and I really don't know how it works, if I was grading this book, I would seriously consider giving this a 9.9 some of the time. I think this book had a 1% chance maybe of even a 9.9, which, you know, I'm not hoping for that. That's just crazy, right? But I think I would eat this slab with ketchup and a spoon if it does not get a 9.8, because this is maybe one of the top 20 most perfect books I've ever held, if not top 10 or even 5. It's just nuts how clean this book is. So yeah, with that being said, let's don't delay any further. Let's see if we got our 9.8, which we did. Thank heavens, right? I did not want to eat this slab with ketchup. That would have sucked. But anyway, so yeah, 9.8, didn't get the 9.9, but we're not, this isn't fairyland, right? We're not expecting to ever get a 9.9 or anything, but this is just, I can't get over how great this book is. It's just so perfect. I mean, I can't see anything. Spine's perfect, not one tick, no color breaks, perfect corners. It's like it was just printed and then some. I mean, seriously, no bindery issues. This is one of those 1 in 1,000 books you'll come across. It's just crazy how good that book is. So we started off with a 9.8. Let's see if we can keep that going here with Spawn number 88, which I just missed this one for Halloween. I tried to get it in time, but the turnaround times are a little bit slower than they were because of the hurricane. But that's okay. We'll have it for next year because this is a PC book. It's the only copy I have, and I absolutely love this copy. I love this cover. My kids love this cover. Even my wife, I think, liked this cover, even though she won't admit it, right? So, yeah. So this was also one of these perfect looking books when I got it. I think I could have submitted it without touching it and gotten a 9.8, but I went ahead and cleaned it up what little bit there was. It had 1 or 2 negligible defects before I even touched it. And once again, I mean, this is right up there in the league with the last one. just so you know, I mean, I've been practicing on a lot of books, and I was not practicing on perfect books early on. I was doing test books. Then I did some flawed books like what I thought were 9.0 to 9.4. I didn't want to damage books that look like 9.8 for the most part. But now I'm starting to work on some more higher grade books. So we should be seeing some higher grades on average, if that's even possible. So this is starting that kind of trend where I'll do a whole bunch of higher grade books, hopefully. So once again, this is a perfect book, 9.8. 1% chance of 9.9, right? I mean, that's just, I don't even know why I'm saying that, because that's just never going to happen, right? So yeah, let's see what happens with this beautiful Todd McFarlane, Greg Capullo artwork, and see if we can get our 9.8. And we did. So that is a definite good start. Got the 2 9.8s that we were hoping for. And yeah, just absolutely love these horror Halloween type covers. Even though that's more of a cutesy. I wouldn't even call it horror, right? So next we've got another copy of Coyote number 13. If you've been following the channel, you know I was trying to get this book in 9.8, which I already did. It's sitting right up there on the wall. So my job is done. I've got my 9.8. So whatever grade this one is, unless it's a nicer copy of that 9.8, you know, there can be some variance between copies. I would keep the nicer of the two. I'm a little bit selfish that way maybe. But yeah, so I'd be selling the other one no matter what grade I get. So I'm not saying this is a 9.8 though. I thought this could get as high as a 9.6. And this is the first cover art by Todd McFarlane for Marvel under Epic Comics, and that's right here. In the past, I'd been a little bit unsure about that, so I looked it up, and that is, it's the first art for Marvel for Todd McFarlane. Now this one had mostly quite a few negligible defects, and I was able to clean up most. There might be 2 or 3 or maybe even up to 5 small defects on this book that I couldn't get rid of. They're just very, very negligible though. So I thought this was as high as a 9.6 because of that, because if it's not 3 defects, even if they're negligible or less, I don't ever consider them for a 9.8. I think it's got to have 2 or 3 at the most, and that's a 9.8. That's my opinion. Some people are not that conservative, though, when they grade, as you've seen in the past from some of the books that I've gotten back. This one here has a really good outside chance of 9.8. I'd say 20% of the time this could get 9.8. but I'm expecting 9.4 or 9.6 otherwise. So let's see what CGC thinks, which is what really counts, right? Wow, okay, so I've got two 9.8s of this book now. So yeah, this might actually be a slightly better copy than the other one. I think if I remember correctly, I thought my cap on that one was 9.4. So this is probably the nicer of the two books, so I probably would end up keeping this one. But they're both 9.8s, they're both beautiful books. But yeah, once again, glad to have another 9.8 in the collection. 3 straight 9.8s to start this. Okay, let's keep this going. So I've got an Infinity Ink, number 14. So yeah, it's the first Todd McFarlane published artwork, first cover. So that's the significance of this book. This is just great artwork. I love this one. I've covered this one before. You've seen this book, so I'm not going to belabor the point here. But I did think this one started as about a 9.4. It was already a really high grade. I thought I was able to once again get it to a 9.6. But once again, it's probably got that 20% or so chance of getting that 9.8 because this is just an absolute gorgeous book. I'm looking at it from here and man, I can't see nothing. This is beautiful. I mean, the colors and everything are so bright. It looks like I just walked up to the stand and picked out the best of 5 copies up there on the stand. That's what this book looks like. So let's see what CGC says. 9.8, 4 straight. 4 straight. Now, we would expect maybe 3 or 4 of these to be 9.8 because 2 are obvious 9.8s, but I am super thrilled to get 2 9.8s when I was expecting just to have a 20% chance of one of the 2 being a 9.8. But yeah, I don't see anything on this book once again. Maybe got one little tick there, but it's just perfect otherwise from what I can tell. So awesome. 4 straight 9.8s. Now, we're not going to get a 9.8 on this last one. Boo-hoo, right? But I can pretty much promise you that because I remember this book because this is my second copy of Star Wars number 42. Now, if you remember, I cleaned, pressed, whitened a copy of Star Wars 42. It was back here on the wall for a long time, and it's over there now. It's a 6.0. And I was thrilled to get that 6.0. This one I thought started as a 7.0 when I got it. It looked awesome online when I bought it, and I probably overpaid. I actually bought this during the peak of this book, which was like 2021-ish. Like when this book was like double what it's valued now or something like that. So I thought I got a really good deal back then for a high-grade copy of this, but now with the prices going down so much, I'm probably losing value, losing money on this one. Of course, I'm not selling it. If this is my highest grade copy, I'm keeping this one. So it doesn't really matter. I'm keeping this one long term until I actually got a higher grade, if that's even possible. So I don't see any reason to ever need to replace this book because it already looks, from here, 9.4 all day long. 9.2, 9.4, easy. The corners are sharp. Spine looks great. It's just perfectly white. I did not have to whiten this book. Basically, this was just a clean and a press. And it was not even that hard to clean and press. I think I might have only had to leave it in for the one press. So I got really lucky, but there was something on it that made it accept. I think there's some kind of like color breaking crease somewhere that's I can't see now. Like actually I think I can, like right here. There's like a tiny little color breaking crease that's about that big. That's going to cap us. So I thought that was the reason I was capped at 8.0. So I'm hoping for somewhere between 7.5 and 8.0 on our last book. And this is probably the biggest book of the bunch, I would think. But it's also the one I spent the most money, so wow, probably gonna lose money on this one depending on what the grade comes back. So let's see what CGC thinks for this beautiful copy of Star Wars number 42, first Boba Fett in comics. Man, I just sat here and said this looks like a 9.4, and I got a 9.4. Can this book read my mind or something? What's going on? Whoo! I did not ever think in my wildest dreams that this book would actually get a 9.4. I was just joking. I promise I did not look at the grades. This is not rigged. I am not a good actor, by the way, so I genuinely am shocked that I got a 9.4 in this book. And once again, it does have this little color break right here. It was pinched. I had to clean it up with a tack iron, press it. And that's all that's left is that tiny little color break right there. If you can see, I don't know if it's showing up good on camera. Everything else on this book is just beautiful. Look at that back cover. You see anything wrong with that? I know it's hard to see on camera, but look at the corners. Look how good that looks. And this isn't the first time I've way underestimated grades. And I've definitely got to do some recalibration. I did a grading tool. It's free for everybody to use. If you want to check that out, I'll put a link in the description and above here if I can remember. And yeah, it's where you can eyeball a book, get a general feel of the aesthetics of the book from different parts of the book, and get a ballpark grade. Well, apparently I was too conservative on that tool. So I've got once I go through a few more books, a couple dozen more books, I'll recalibrate that and release a 2.0 version or whatever of that book, or at least a 1.1 version, right? So yeah, but I just, this is unbelievable. I can, I mean, wow. I don't even know. I have no clue what this book is worth. I mean, it's worth a lot more than it was when I bought it, obviously, but I might actually do okay on this book. So yeah, I'll be selling my 6.0 copy, most likely, and keeping this one for posterity. Don't even ask. I'm keeping this book. But look at that. Is that not absolutely gorgeous? Gonna look so good. And this one will probably be on the wall behind me in my next video. So once again, this is one of my, I mean, not that I need it, but this is probably, might be my best submission yet. I mean, as far as just total overall grades, like 4 9.8s and then a 9.4, kind of out of left field. I don't even know what to say. I'm kind of speechless right now, which is hard to do since I like to ramble. But yeah, very, 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 very happy to have this book in the collection. Gonna love this book for a long time, and gonna enjoy it and share it with people. Hopefully one day my kids will be able to appreciate this book as well when I pass it on to them when I am gone. So yeah, very, very happy to have this book in the PC forever.